Nicki Minaj had made a cryptic reference to some actions that Diddy had taken 2 years prior, which appeared to be a forecast of the turbulent storm of legal battles and allegations that would eventually overwhelm him. Nicki Minaj's statement was a reference to Diddy's actions. Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a former producer who had been associated with Diddy, initiated a legal struggle against the mogul, which resulted in a dramatic and unexpected turn of events in the story. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Rumor Spill. Diddy was accused of leading an unlawful company in violation of Puerto Rican statutes and of maintaining connections with several important players in the music industry, including Meek Mill and Usher, ever since their careers began to take off. This particular accusation was particularly devastating since it accused Diddy of doing both of these things. Almost immediately after these revelations were made public, Meek Mill found himself in the heart of a dispute with not only fans but also bloggers on the internet. However, he refrained from outright refuting the allegations made in the complaint about the circumstance. Nicki Minaj conveyed the appearance that she was aware of the likelihood that Meek was participating in some kind of illicit activity by means of a video that was uploaded to the internet during this period of upheaval. In addition to this, Nicki had previously drawn connections between the situation that is currently going on and the nasty behavior that Meek had displayed toward her. In order to further escalate the situation, the activities of Meek Mill were brought into question, which prompted the situation to become even more heated. The parties who were concerned agreed that it raises questions when a grown man, known as Meek, discards a woman ostensibly to boost album sales despite the fact that she was the only supporter when others had deserted. It raises questions, was the sentiment that was expressed regarding the situation. During the course of the conversation, the extent to which Nicki was aware of the rumors that connected her and another person, Cassie, to a convoluted web of supposition was a topic of discussion, and questions were raised about it. An example of this would be when Meek Mill took a conciliatory posture in the midst of a swarm of rappers during a gathering with former President Obama. This provoked a peculiar response from a woman whom Rick Ross referred to as a keeper. A noteworthy event has taken place here. Just before Meek Mill was supposed to release an album, she made the decision to address the issue that he was having with President Obama. This decision raised additional questions regarding the validity of his motivations for doing what he did. Diddy was accused of engaging in illegal activities that were in violation of the RICO Act and of encouraging the distribution of controlled narcotics among the young people who were on his property outside of Miami, according to the complaint that Rodney Jones filed against Diddy. It was also said that Diddy encouraged the distribution of controlled substances. Jones further said that Diddy had leveraged his alleged relationships within law enforcement in order to avoid being investigated. Jones made this claim in order to escape being investigated. One of the allegations against Jones was that he was in possession of considerable video and audio evidence that demonstrated Diddy, his co-workers, and other guests engaging in illegal behavior. Additionally, the lawsuit did not stop at only naming Diddy. After it did so, it also pulled other significant figures from the music industry into the battle. Universal Music Group and MTV Records, which is a subsidiary of Universal Music Group, were also listed as defendants in the action. Additionally, Diddy's label, Love Records, was a defendant in this case. In a roundabout way, even Justin Diddy, the son of Diddy, Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music, and Ethiopia Haptemariam, the former CEO of Motown, were addressed. All of these individuals were not directly acknowledged. Despite the fact that Meek Mill and Usher were not specifically identified, this led to a great deal of speculation among fans that they were involved in the incident. Following the vague allusions that were made in the complaint, online sleuths carried out further investigations that connected the dots between the cryptic references and material that was already available to the public. Meek Mill and Usher were both included as defendants in the lawsuit because they are known to have connections with Diddy. Usher recently revisited the issue of his early career and his residency at Puffy's Flavor Camp, a topic on which he did so with notable caution and a hint of unease. This brought about an increase in the amount of attention that was paid to these topics. The subject was one that he had avoided discussing in the past. As a result of the widespread transmission of a video that showed Diddy affectionately referring to Meek Mill as daddy while they were by the poolside, the conversation around the relationship between Meek Mill and Diddy became more heated. The fact that pictures of Meek and Diddy wearing identical clothing sparked additional rumors only served to fuel them. Nevertheless, the charges that were made in Rodney Jones's complaint are at the center of the dispute that has arisen.
Based on these charges, it appears that Diddy was involved in illegal activities and that he was supposedly the head of an organization that engaged in criminal activity. There have been a substantial number of Nicki Minaj's supporters who have been very vocal, bringing attention to earlier incidents in which it was said that Meek had physically harmed Nicki Minaj. According to a source who was once close to Meek, Nicki Minaj was allegedly subjected to physical abuse by Meek. This includes an instance in which he allegedly spat on her and locked her out of their home in a remote place. Additionally, the source claims that Meek locked Nicki Minaj out of their home. Meek was never formally charged by Nicki, but in a social media conversation in the year 2020, she made a veiled allusion to the fact that she had been mistreated, which shows that she has a history of abuse. Nicki has never directly charged Meek at any point.
During the time when Meek Mill was being accused of being involved in illegal operations that were supposedly carried out by Diddy, he made the decision to defend himself in a roundabout way by implying that his opponents were attempting to harm his professional career. During his remarks, he emphasized the challenges that are connected with producing music on one's own and insinuated that any efforts to smear his reputation through online campaigns would ultimately be ineffective. The fact that Meek's remarks appeared to support the claims in the eyes of a sizable portion of his followers made the situation worse. This further muddied the topic around the personal lives of both Meek and Diddy. As discussions switched toward the nature of Meek's connection with Diddy, many individuals questioned the lack of the same scrutiny that was applied when Nicki Minaj shared her experiences of being mistreated by Meek. Nicki Minaj had described how Meek failed to treat her with respect. The public and the media have been accused of hypocrisy by certain individuals as a result of this discrepancy, particularly in light of the many claims that have been made about Meek's behavior with women. Nicki Minaj is continuing to bring to light the most troubling aspects of her relationship with Meek Mill, including allegations of physical abuse. As a result, the story of Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill is continuing to unravel. Despite the fact that they made the decision to part ways a number of years ago, the story continues to develop, shedding light on the numerous complexities of their past together as well as the wider ramifications that have occurred inside the music industry. It was previously believed that their unconventional coupling, which began in 2015, would be successful, with Meek providing support for Nicki on her tour across North America. However, this opinion was later disproved. Despite this, their interactions became more tense as their relationship deteriorated, which ultimately led to a split that received widespread media attention and was the result of cryptic social media statements. Nicki Minaj's documentary series, Queen, culminated with a frightening trailer, which was the conclusion of the tension. The viewer is left wondering about the identity of the person who committed the crime because Nicki boldly communicated her experiences in the video without naming the individual who was responsible for the crime. A cease and desist letter that Meek Mill sent in retaliation to the documentary only helped to add fuel to the flames, calling attention to the constant friction that exists between him and Nicki, despite the fact that she has gone on to other relationships. This sequence of events paints a complex picture of the dynamic interaction between personal relationships and public personalities in the high-stakes world of music and fame. This picture is further complicated when combined with Meek's behavior toward Nicki and his legal entanglements, which adds to the complexity of the situation. Subscribe Rumor Spill for more videos.